What's going on, everybody? It's Dark Strider, and we're playing the Nintendo version of Double Dragon this week for this Throwback Thursday. Now, last week I played the Sega Master System version, and we had a good time there. I didn't complete it, but if you go to my Dark Retro channel, I did complete it, and you get to see all the way through to the end. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of wild. Please, by all means, if you do enjoy the Throwback Thursdays, the Flashback Fridays that I do on this channel, then definitely go over to Dark Retro, give a like, subscribe there. I don't upload as often as I do here, but that's sort of by design, you know. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. There's a lot of old games that I'm playing over there, like the Atari 2600, the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, so forth and so on, PlayStation, all the originals. And, you know, it's just kind of fun to go back and see where all these stories started out, where they came from. I do a lot of side-by-side comparisons I'm going to start doing now. You know, I'm going to start doing documentaries over there as well as, you know, so like, you know, the history of certain characters or games or anything like that. So if you could, give it a look, and if you have any suggestions, anything that you want to see, any old school games you'd love to see, then definitely let me know, because I do have fun doing it, you know, as well as doing this channel over here as well. I'd like to see, you know, in 2025, more subs, more views over there. I do have a lot of fun. It's sort of a passion project for me. That's why I do these Throwback Thursdays and Flashback Fridays. There's a link in the description below. Go check it out. You'll have fun. I guarantee it. Anyway, we're doing this, and honestly, we're just in time, because I had just read that in 2025, they will be releasing a Double Dragon, it's called Revive, Double Dragon Revive. And from what I understand, it is a remake or a reboot of the original Double Dragon. Now, I don't know if it's going to be, you know, like all wild with cutscenes and stuff like that. If it's going to be, you know, totally remade where, you know, it's going to be more of like an action RPG or something. I don't know the details. But it does have Billy and Jimmy Lee. They are back. And it's the same premise. You know, you're trying to save Billy's girlfriend Marion from this shadow gang. So, you know, like I think that's going to be kind of wild. Definitely stay tuned, because as soon as it comes out, I will play it. I'll let you guys see what it's all about. We'll, you know, like rate it. We'll try to figure out what's going on with it. You know, I just think that's going to be kind of cool. Anyway, again, you know, we're replaying the original Double Dragon. We're comparing it to the Sega Master System. Last week, I played this game on the original Sega Master System. And I don't know, the colors on the Sega Master System really popped. And I feel like the Sega Master System was closer to the arcade than this one was. A lot of people had complained that, number one, this game was single player. You could not play two-player in this game at all. You could only play single. In Double Dragon for the Master System, you could play two-player simultaneous. A lot of people absolutely loved that. And, you know, like, it's all a matter of preference. But this was kind of classic. This was kind of wild. The Nintendo version did so well just because it was Nintendo. Nintendo was dominating back then. It really was. Nintendo was really dominant back then. Nintendo was in nearly like every household. I don't know. I know Master System, they did really well. They did have like a lot of really good, colors and stuff like that, and games as well. But Nintendo dominated because Nintendo ended up with a bunch of kind of like exclusives that they had. And the reason that they had the exclusives was because they had agreements where you could make a game for Nintendo, but you had to, number one, agree to only make the game for Nintendo. Number two, you were granted a special chip that they would allot for cartridges. If you notice, they all have the same uniform color, but there were a couple that were black and kind of had like the angle, which was the Tengen version of the games. And the reason that Tengen was able to do that was because they thought that they could get around it. They thought that it was not a problem. It wasn't affecting copyright or anything like that. So that's how Tengen started making their own cartridges and whatnot, and that was a big no-no to Nintendo. So, you know, that they decided, you know, like to pursue that, to sue them. If you have any of those old games, all those old collectors, they know that, you know, that's kind of valuable. You know, like a little bit of history there for you. But, you know, back to Double Dragon. Again, same premise as always. You know, it's Billy and Jimmy Lee, except in this one, it's not Jimmy at all. It's just Billy. And Billy is out to save Marion, who the gang came and kidnapped. So, you know, here they are trying to, you know, like, or Billy is at least, trying to get her back. You go through all these missions. At the end of this, spoiler alert for any of you who have not played the game or don't know the history of it, when you get to the end of the game, you find out that the big bad, the actual boss, is your brother, Jimmy. And it's pretty wild. It was wild that they did that. It was a great concept. That's how they did it for the consoles. In the arcade version, it wasn't that your brother was the leader of the gang. It was at the end, you had the opportunity to fight for the girl. So it wasn't like either one was, or she was committed to either one. Whoever the best man was in fighting won the girl. So if you went through the game with a friend, or even if you went through the game with just some rando that you met at the arcade, when you got to the end, you could fight over the girl. And, you know, whoever won the girl, which was kind of wild. Obviously, the 80s were a different time. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't fly today, thanks to, you know, like all the crazy PC and you know, woke agenda, quote unquote, of nowadays. I'm pretty sure they would be upset with that. But, you know, back then, it was an amazing concept. It was a lot of fun. You know, so Machine Gun Willie is supposed to be the last boss. You know, that's supposed to be a definite. But they ended up doing it where Jimmy was the big bad at the end. Then they don't explain how in Double Dragon 2 they made up and they decided to help each other fight these bad guys and whatnot. So that was kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty wild. I don't know how they didn't come up with this storyline or whatever. Maybe they thought for, you know, the consoles they would do something different. The arcade games were completely different story-wise, and maybe we'll do a run of the arcade games, because the arcade games were a lot of fun. You know, they were meant to be, you know, quarter crunchers. They were really wild and difficult, but not too difficult. You know, if you wanted to continue playing, obviously you popped in a bunch of quarters. Except at the end, when you fought your opponent at the end, when you fought, let's say, you know, a friend, a co-worker, or, you know, just some rando you met over at the arcade, after you defeated the last person, there was no popping in an extra quarter and continuing the fight. That was it. The game was over. It was also one of the first games where you actually had an ending to the game. Normally, when you went to the arcade, the whole point of the arcade game was to get the highest score. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. It was endless loops. They got progressively faster and harder. And then you would eventually, you know, like lose all your lives. There were no continues, even if you popped a bunch of quarters in. And you ended up, you know, just having the highest score and putting up, your initials. You were the ruler of this cabinet. So it was kind of cool. Anything else, though, is just kind of wild. These games, again, a lot of fun. Abobo, I don't think has changed in any of the games. I think he is exactly the same in every game. These guys that I'm fighting here, not gonna lie, one of the funniest things about Double Dragon and Golden Axe, if you see the giants in Golden Axe and these guys here, they kind of look like my dad. I'm not gonna lie. My Papa Strider actually is this big, this brolic, and this bald. It's wild. It's one of the wildest things ever. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Although I guarantee you that I would not be able to beat him up. He would probably slap me around, even as old as he is now. He'd get up off his favorite chair and do that if I dared to challenge him. I think we're on the third round right now. We're in the forest area. The forest area was kind of cool. You go from, like the urban area, then you go to an industrial area. This is the forest, and then there's the actual hideout of the gang. And I know the gang's hideout is really intricate. It's just wild. This was BS. I'm telling you right now, this cave, they didn't have this, I don't think, in the arcade, not to my recollection. They definitely didn't have this in the Sega version. But that was such a pain. Like, those things will take you out quickly. And then there are no continues in this game. This game had no continues. The Nintendo version, absolutely none. Sega, you had a bunch of continues, and when you got to the last area in the Sega version, a trick that you could do, because you would run out of continues, a trick you could do in that area is to just stand still and jump anywhere from 30 to 40 times, and when you do that, you would have infinite continues, believe it or not. And it was only available on that version. This one, they had nothing. You had one chance to get through the entire game, and you had to get through it. So it was pretty wild. This whole game, it was just, it was pretty intense, honestly, back then. Again, if you understood the patterns of like the guys, what they were doing, you would be able to figure it out completely. And get through the entire game. The ending is kind of hard because you end up fighting a bunch of the characters, and it could get intense, especially if you don't have enough lives. So, we'll get to that point when we get there. This was such a pain. Look at this. Yeah, I'm gonna rewind that. Yeah, you saw that. That was annoying as hell, like trying to get through that. But we'll try it one more time. Let's see if we can do it. Alright, we're going to jump, and we made it this time. And we'll keep going. So, yeah, this was, again, pretty wild. I don't recall this in the arcade. All of this was definitely not in the Sega version. And one of the wild things about this was that in the Nintendo version, you could loop endlessly, starting with this level. You would loop endlessly. So when you saw me enter the caves in the forest, had I continued walking, you would have just started at the beginning of the forest, and you would have had to do this all over again. It's the same thing here. At this point, what I'm going to have to do is go into this cave that this Abobo came out of after I defeat all the Abobos that are here. Once you defeat them, then I'm able to enter this cave and continue on the path. If I don't do that, it will just constantly loop. I'll be looping from here. It'll start the cave all over again. which, again, you know, kind of wild, but at the same time, very annoying and very different from, like, the arcade and the Sega versions of this game. So, I'm telling you, it was a massive pain. Massive pain. I've done this before where, like, I've actually gone through this cave, like, so many times when I first got this cartridge, and it took me a little while to figure out that you had to go a specific way and hit a specific route in order to get what you needed. It was really annoying. Really annoying. But those are one of the things that, you know, like, you had to figure out. I guess it kept the replayability. Maybe. That's a possibility. This level, not too bad. I'm getting closer to the enemy base. How these enemies were able to have a base like this is beyond me. It's pretty intense. It's pretty wild, I think. And look at this. It's over by this cave. We have to get... The only way to enter, you have to kill a bunch of enemies. And that's the only way you're able to enter this. Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. I had to keep fighting these people. Because I didn't get them all. Did not get them all. All these Lindas. That's what they were called. I'm not being facetious. I'm not being silly or crazy. That's literally their names. They were called Lindas. We'll perch over here. We'll see if we can't just kick them down. And here we go, mission 4. Now we're inside the base. At this point, if you were playing the Sega version, what you could do is do, like I said, it's like 30 or 40 jumps. And in doing that, you're able to unlock unlimited lives or unlimited continues so that you could just keep doing this. And, you know, you'd be alright at that point. But let's see what happens. Let's see if I can get through this. Again, this is another area where you could just endlessly loop. It gets really annoying. Super annoying. And I'll show you, you know, like the correct path through it. So that you don't have to worry about it. So that you just know, hey, this is the path I was supposed to go through. Let's see. Yeah, we'll toss these Chintai into the abyss there. Yes, they are called Chintai. I don't know why they named them like that. I don't know why. You know, they I remember, what was it? It was Abobo are the big guys. These are Chintai. Lindas are the girls. I think Luther are the guys with the vests. And the regular guys that you first meet, I think, are Williams. I think. So, that's a possibility. I might be correct, I might not be correct. Somebody double check me. Double check me, somebody. But yeah, it's pretty wild that they had this. It's pretty wild that this is, you know, the way that these all went. And again, a lot of fun this game was. Except in this version where you're constantly going and looping around. Like, that was so annoying. So annoying. Here we go. We'll toss these guys. We'll do this. Toss him. There we go. Kick these dudes in the face. Yeah, these guys I think are the Luthers. Or Lopar. Still have enemies to do? No. Gotta go through here. Here we go. This is a very intricate base, and I don't think that... In fact, I know in the arcade it was not this intricate. It was like 4 basic levels. For some reason, they made this like super, super difficult. Again, I want to say they did it for replayability, because they wanted you to be able to like experience this, go through this, and just, like really get your money's worth. Because a lot of these games, if you think about it, a lot of these games, if you're really good, could be beaten in like, the same day that you bought them. I remember getting, like Nintendo games for Christmas and stuff, and being able to beat the game in the same day that I got it. As you can clearly see, this game is only going to take like about 30 minutes to get through. Again, very, very simple game. Very, well, not simple. It was complex, but, like once you knew all the secrets, you knew the ins and outs, you got some practice in, you were able to like go and actually get this game going. And like I say, defeat it within like the first 30 minutes or the first day of owning it. Which kind of ruined it for like me for like Christmases, because my aunt used to buy me Nintendo games for Christmas and my birthday. And whenever she would buy them for me, like I would beat them the same day, and she just stopped doing it because, she felt like we weren't getting our money's worth. I was beating it the same day, which is kind of wild. So let's see, we're almost to the very end of the level. We just have to go through that door, and that door is where in the Sega version you would see the statues that have the pikes. I kind of feel like the Sega version was always more faithful. The Sega versions of these games were always more faithful to the arcades when they did arcades than Nintendo was. Not just in like, color scheme or anything like that, but as far as like the level structure and everything. Again, if you're interested, like I'll do another comparison where we're playing, like the Double Dragon arcade game. It'll definitely be up on my Dark Retro channel. And we'll see, like where we go from there. Maybe I'll have it as a Throwback Thursday over here, or a Flashback Friday. That's up to you. Here is the very end. This is where everything comes into place or fails. This is where we're going to defeat a bunch of enemies here. They come out in twos. First it's the Abobo, then it's the Chintai, I think Linda's, Lopars, and then the Williams. And then finally Machine Gun Willie. Whereas in the Sega version, they just all kind of come out all together. And they'll start, like fighting you, like as a group. So this is, again, pretty wild that they do it this way. And then, of course, you find the dark secret that, your brother is actually the leader of the gang. Which I thought was kind of silly that they did it that way, because that's not how they did it in the arcade. But again, it is what it is. They were trying to sell tapes. They were trying to sell cartridges. I have to do a IRL stream where like I show you guys my collections, my studio with my entire collection of all my games. Old, new, a lot of physical media, because physical media I feel is where it's at. Yes, you can do digital and get digital, like the same day. Like play it, kind of like a lot of people are expecting to play Assassin's Creed at midnight. I will be playing it at midnight, but I will also be getting the physical copy because I want to have the physical copy. To me, physical copies are forever. They can't just change anything. If you remember, Sony had an issue where they lost the rights to something. So if you bought like a specific TV series or from a specific channel, they just wiped it from your thing. So here we go. We have defeated Machine Gun Willie. Was not as hard as I thought. And now Jimmy Lee comes out as the big bad, which is kind of wild. So he's very difficult because obviously he has all your moves, and he is not afraid to use them. You're gonna go through heck and back trying to defeat him. So here we go. Let's see if we can get him. I'm down to one last bar. This might not happen. Let's see if it does. Oh, I'm still alive. I'm still alive and kicking. I have no bars. No bars. Like a cell phone in a really bad service area. No bars. Like somebody who's trying to battle rap Eminem. No bars. 0 bars. Can I do this? Can this be done? I don't know. I'm looking good so far, but that could change in a heartbeat, and it did. Look at that. Alright, so we'll do this again. We'll give this another try. Let's see if it happens this time. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I could actually take him out. Or if he's just going to win again. Because again, this is a very difficult fight. It's you, it's all your moves, and if you have not mastered this, if you have not mastered the game and how to play it and all the moves and whatnot, then you know you're kind of stuck in the water, man. You're not going to get very far. Look at him. Attacking as soon as I get up. Like a freaking spawn camper. Just all in my stuff. We'll see what happens though. This may be it. I may make it this time. I may actually do it. Here's hoping. Here's hoping. We'll see what goes down. We're doing good so far. No other enemies are going to come out. This is it. We defeat them. We save the girl. And then we continue in our business, whatever our business is. Going back to a life of street crime or something. Or teaching people in a dojo or something. I don't know. I don't know what this guy does. All I know is that in the sequel, they are, you know, the brothers are back together and they're friends. There we go. Did it. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps this channel out an awful lot. As always, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you guys all in the next one. And please, by all means, make sure you go and you check out the Dark Retro channel. Thank you.